What's up, guys? It's Ajax the Mystic here, coming at you with another review for Dragon Ball Super episode 52. Now, before we get into the actual meat of this episode, I gotta give a shout out to Vegeta, man. Training for his family in the gravity room, like, holy crap, guys. Like, this dude has come such a long way from the previous sagas of Dragon Ball Z, like the Buu Saga, Cell Saga, and so on, because when have we ever seen Vegeta train for someone other than himself? Like, every time he's gone off to train, you know, with Whis and Beerus, or in the gravity room by himself at Capsule Corps, he's always training either to make himself stronger, and just to make himself stronger, like just that reason alone, or to catch up with, you know, Goku, so that Goku doesn't get too far ahead of him, and so on. I don't think we've ever had a time where Vegeta was training for someone else's benefit. Like, he was thinking in this episode that Black fucked with his family. Like, he killed Bulma, he fucked around too much with Trunks, and now he's pissed as all hell and is training his ass off to get stronger, to kick Black's ass. And I think that's really cool to see from Vegeta, because again, we've never really seen him train for someone else other than, you know, his own betterment, his own improvement. But to see Vegeta saying like, yo, this guy fucked with my family, I'm gonna, you know, beat that ass. So it was pretty awesome to see, you know, Vegeta's development in another lens, like the way he's doing his training, which is what we got in this episode. But finally, going into the actual core of this episode, by far, everyone would agree this was a Trunks and Gohan episode. Trunks seeing Gohan, you know, with his family and how he's adapted to, you know, peace in their timeline. And, you know, this was a scene that the fan base was like, you know, nerdgasming about for quite some time, because when they heard that Trunks was coming back from the future into the past, everyone wanted to see his reaction to how Gohan is. And we all know how Gohan declined from, you know, the Cell Saga, and, you know, he kind of went up a little bit in the Buu Saga. You know, he got that mystic form and whatnot, but then after the Buu Saga, oh, pretty bad for Gohan's popularity. And I swear, I loved Trunks' reactions in this episode, because I felt like he was a fan. Like he was what the fan base saw Gohan as. Like, every time you see Gohan in his outfit, or every time you saw Gohan doing something just cringeworthy, you see Trunks there just like, oh my God, this was my idol. But, you know, all jokes aside, this was an episode showing Trunks of what his God, the guy who trained him, what he eventually became in the present timeline. And, you know, even though he's, you know, a peace-loving scholar, doesn't fight anymore, doesn't train anymore, Trunks still respects that, in that he's seeing how his life could have been had Black not come into his timeline and just, you know, started fucking everything up. And of course, this made Trunks, you know, a little jelly of Gohan for good reasons. You know, not in a, you know, like an evil, like maniacal sort of way, like, ah, man, why does Gohan get all of this? It was more of a, yo, my mom, Bulma, could have had this life, and we can't have it anymore because they're all dead, but we all know at least one of them ain't dead. One of them was incinerated. Like, she's dead, but we all know one of them, you know, gave that little twitch. So she's most likely still alive. But yeah, that's pretty much what this episode was. I did enjoy, just for the comedic aspects, again, seeing Trunks' face and just his expressions on how his, like, you know, idol just declined to, like, just a family scholar man, and it was just freaking hilarious to see all that. And while we're still on the topic of Trunks, man, his PTSD is out of this world, man, because, like, every waking moment, every time he goes to sleep, every time he sees, you know, like, someone, like Goku, or when he sees, like, you know, a city from a bird's eye view, he's just getting images of destruction, Black killing his mom. It's just, the guy's mind is, like, you know, tainted. He cannot move past this guy that, like, you know, ravaged his timeline. And it makes you wonder, how long was Black, you know, ravaging Trunks's, you know, timeline? Because as far as we can tell, Trunks never really had any PTSD towards the androids when he came back from the future. I mean, like, yeah, he wanted to, you know, defeat the androids. He got angry whenever he mentioned them, but he never, like, you know, woke up from his sleep with, like, nightmares and stuff. And, you know, the androids, you know, they fucked with Trunks for a long ass time. Many years, since he was a kid, even a baby at that. So it makes you wonder, you know, the androids were around for a pretty long time in Trunks' future timeline. So again, how long has Black been in Trunks' timeline? Like, has he been there so long that now Trunks has PTSD? Or has he done even worse things to, you know, fuck with Trunks so that he has PTSD? Because again, it's establishing Black as a more formidable opponent because he's fucked Trunks so bad. This kid grew up with the androids that destroyed cities just for shits and giggles. And this guy comes out of nowhere and is just like, now this dude has PTSD. He's waking up from nightmares. He can't see, you know, a normal plain sight without it flashing back to like a city of fire and tainted and destruction. Like, holy crap, dude. Black is one savage. And speaking of Gohan, I'm really starting to hate the ball tickling, the cock teasing that we keep getting with this dude. Because Gohan's strength has been declining for quite some time. That much is not new. But what's annoying me is that every time Gohan gets his ass kicked or he realizes he's not as strong as he used to be, he gets this, you know, all of a sudden like higher spirits to train, to ask Piccolo to come with him and spar and make himself stronger to what he used to be. And it gives us hope that Gohan will eventually become the great, like, epic badass that we used to see from the Cell Saga. Like when we saw those flashbacks when Trunks was looking at Gohan, it's like, yo, this kid, this dude, my main homie Gohan turned into this? Like, what? How? But then once Gohan starts training, he disappears. He goes off the grid. He goes back to those conferences. He goes back to doing research. And again, not shooting Gohan down for, you know, wanting to do all of those things, but, you know, pick what you want to do, man. Either do both or pick one or the other and stick with it. If you're just gonna be a scholar dude, you know, doing research and stuff, stick with it. Don't, you know, bring up, you know, these scenes where you're like, oh man, I gotta train, I gotta pick up the pace with the other Z fighters, because no, we don't want any of that. Pick one, choose one, or go with both, but make sure you stick with it. Please, Gohan, come on, man, please. And I'm saying all of this because at the end of this episode, you know, Gohan realizes he forgot to ask Trunks why he came back into the past. And some of you may not see that as, you know, that big of a deal, like, oh, well, he just forgot, so what? However, this pretty much solidifies that Gohan will most likely not have a role in this arc, because if he doesn't know why Trunks came back into the past, he has no motivation to even train or, you know, go help out Trunks and, you know, show off what he's been doing with his training with Piccolo. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that Gohan does indeed find a reason to, you know, join in this arc and, you know, show off some of his moves that he might have learned from Piccolo for however long he trained with him. But it's more than likely Gohan is not going to have a role in this arc just based on the fact that he didn't ask, you know, Trunks why he came back into the past, and therefore, you know, he's not going to have a role, you know, to help out at all unless Trunks comes back and, you know, tells him. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But again, pretty decent episode of Dragon Ball Super. Kind of, you know, waking up Trunks a little bit, getting him past those PTSD scenes, because he needs to learn that, you know, he's back with, you know, his family. Like, his family is basically alive in this timeline. He might as well enjoy it while it lasts. So, again, a decent episode of Dragon Ball Super. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. I'm sorry if this seemed like a little bit of a rant on Gohan's part, but every time I mention Gohan, I just can't help myself, because this dude, this was my favorite character in Dragon Ball Z, and just seeing him in this state, I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's happy with his life, but it's Dragon Ball Z, man. Where's the muscles? Where's the strength? Where's the ki blast? Come on, Gohan. It's just, let me know what you all think down below. But that's all that I have for you folks. If you enjoyed this video at all, or even this pretty decent episode of Dragon Ball Super, leave me a thumbs up down below. I'd really greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, click this box right here. You'll stay up to date with all my future videos and content, and I will love you forever. Don't forget, social media sites in the description box down below. Follow me on those as well to get more content when the video ends. I'm Ajax the Mister, and as always, folks, thanks for watching.